And let's talk about Newt Gingrich. He says Palestinians are an invented people. He made this strong statement in an interview on the Jewish Channel. Here it is for you.
Well, I believe that the Jewish people have the right to have a state, and I believe that the commitments that were made at a time, remember, there was no Palestine as a state. It's part of the Ottoman Empire. And I think that we've had an invented Palestinian people who are in fact Arabs and were historically part of the Arab community.
Gingrich went on to say that it's tragic that Palestinians didn't leave the area when they had the chance rather than sustaining a war against Israel. He also called the Middle East peace process, quote, delusional. Now, Saeb Erekat, a top Palestinian executive committee member, called the comments, quote, the most racist statement I've ever seen. On Capitol Hill, the focus is still on, you guessed it, the payroll tax cut. Well, the Iowa caucus is just a little over 3 weeks away now, and that means there is a full court press on in Iowa for the Republican presidential candidates. There's a debate there, as you know, tonight. Candidates rolling out new TV ads, too, to get out their word. Here with me now, Matt Towery, syndicated columnist and former campaign advisor to Newt Gingrich, and Lee May, Democratic County Commissioner in suburban Atlanta's DeKalb County. So thank you both so much. Good to see you this early this morning, I know. Yes. Okay, let's start with Newt Gingrich's comments, particularly regarding Palestinians and calling them invented people. I have to ask you, Matt, since you have worked with Newt, at this point, how would you be advising him after a comment like that that's raised so many eyebrows?
Well, these are going to come from Newt. And I was saying yesterday in a column that Newt Gingrich's best move is to stay as quiet as possible for the next 30 days. I mean, he's leading in the polls. He really doesn't need to do anything other than to begin to develop his grassroots in Iowa. I don't think it's devastating to him because, quite frankly, the people who are voting in Iowa, generally speaking, are very sympathetic to Israel and not necessarily so sympathetic to the Palestinian nation in the first place. But again, I think Newt needs to be very careful. He's running for president, and these off-the-cuff statements can have problems.
Lee, is it really going to cause a problem for him? I'm wondering how much this is really on people's radar going into a campaign. It certainly makes you wonder how he'd handle foreign policy, but people are worried about the economy here.
Well, absolutely. I think mum has to be the word for Newt Gingrich. All of these things that he has to say, you know, kind of sometimes out of left and right field. I think his main focus needs to be building an organization that can get him elected in the first 5 states, Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Florida, and Nevada. And that needs to be his focus. And all of these wild kind of things that he has to say should take a back burner.
Well, there's a pretty fierce fight going on among all of them. And Romney is coming out now, Mitt Romney, with this ad. I want to show you a quick look at it here as he's hitting Gingrich hard.
He doesn't have the discipline that you want in a president.
Colorado, he is out, and basically, he is out in the left wing of the Republican Party.
With allies like that, who needs to laugh?
All right, first of all, Matt, is this the strategy for Romney? Is this going to win him some points?
You know, it's not because I knew Newt Gingrich. I'm totally nonpartisan. In fact, I usually poll him below the other pollsters.
Yeah.
This is a dumb move. You don't go to Iowa and start slinging mud. Anybody who knows anything about Iowa politics knows it's a very small state. People don't like attack ads. They have never worked, and it's going to be a big problem for Romney. I can't believe he put his name on this stuff. I was getting all the press releases yesterday that had all these quotes that he's collected from these former members of Congress, some of which were half-wits. I knew them. Some were very good. But the fact of the matter is he's collected all these, and he's put his name at the top of the on the press release coming out of the Romney press shop. I'm shocked he's doing it.
Okay, but Lee, what can Romney do? I mean, when you're looking at his strategy, people know who he is. He's just not resonating with them.
Well, you know, I think his former approach, kind of the passive aggressiveness, isn't working. And I think this shows that he's a bit desperate. And so I think he's looking at the frontal attack now to say, look, I do have this passion for this campaign, because that's been one of the knocks against him, that he just didn't have any zeal, any passion. It's kind of dull. And so now I think he's showing that he's ready to take the fight to now the front runner, which is Newt Gingrich, and hopefully he's thinking that can turn the tide for him.
But I don't understand why he didn't just skip Iowa. and go to New Hampshire.
Romney?
Yes, where he was going to do very well, get a head of steam there, and then build up his base in South Carolina, where the conservative there is conservative, but a little different.
But I don't think you can do that. But
well, I was to say, everybody looks at Iowa, and it's pretty darn imperative, is it not?
Half the time, the person who wins it doesn't even go close to getting the nomination.
But you have to be competitive, though. And you have to show, because even though that's in Iowa, that is showing the nation that you're going after this fight on all fronts, and not just in particular areas.
Just the strategy I would tell you. I think it's a whole lot better than going there and slinging mud and then having people in Iowa who don't like it turn around and say, what are you doing? Because it's pretty tough stuff they're doing.
Okay, so you think he should skip Iowa. What about Trump's debate? Skipping Trump's debate a smart thing to do?
Well, I know the latest on that. I was involved talking yesterday on that. That decision has not been made yet. It may become a series of fireside chats, Trump with Gingrich and with Santorum. It may be canceled. I think they all made a mistake skipping it. Yes, Donald Trump's very polarizing, and he has a tremendously strong personality, but so do a lot of other people who've done
But
these
he's
debates.
also got the eye. I mean, if Trump's involved, a lot of times people will watch, yes, Lee?
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. And it's all about ratings for Trump. I think it's risky for Newt to participate in this, especially because it's, I think, only two people, him and Santorum, that has confirmed.
Yeah,
he's a front runner now. He can't take these risks. And I know that's part of who Newt is, you know, is to take those risks. But you're the front runner. I think you have to kind of take a different position now. And again, going back to building your organization that you can be competitive on.
All righty, Lee May and Matt Towery, we're going to talk more about this in the next hour. They're sticking with us. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Good conversation here. You're going to want to grab yourself a good spot, by the way, to watch a very rare event going on right now. In fact, there is a supersized blood red moon you have got to see. People are already telling me about it on my Facebook page. Also, a school principal